Hey everyone, I hope we're all doing well. Today's video is going to be about social engineering, but more specifically, we are going to be talking about this book here, Social Engineering, The Science of Human Hacking by Christopher Hadnagy.
And God, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name.
Anyway, I took a little bit of time to finish this one, not because it was difficult to read or anything like that, but just because I was busy. And I didn't want to go through it on a rush, so I took my time and boy, it was worth it. Now, as usual, I'm going to share with you the biggest takeaways I got from the book, but first let me address the common question, who is this book for? Well, I honestly think that this is a good read for everyone, but I would specially recommend it for people that are interested not only in information security or social engineering, but also in how humans act and communicate and make decisions. So if I had to sum up this book in 10 seconds, I would say that first it's mainly about how we are wired as humans to communicate and make decisions, and then discovering ways to exploit the vulnerabilities within those processes. The first chapter of this book is more like an introduction to the field of social engineering, but then chapters 2 to 9 are pretty much all about the way we communicate and how that can affect our decisions and social interactions. And keep in mind that this book only has 11 chapters, so that's how important our communication is. And despite of it not being any kind of non-verbal communication guide for dummies, this book really does a good job on covering the basics when it comes to the way we communicate through words, facial expressions, body posture, and much more. Now, if that's something you're curious about, that's great, because this book will touch on that a lot, especially when describing how the way we communicate will influence real-life situations, whether it is in a good or bad way. And that leads me to the next point, which is about the author's transparency in both of those cases. Transparency is very important for me, because if I'm trying to learn something from you, I'll lose interest in the moment that I smell any kind of BS. But on this book, Christopher is actually brutally honest and transparent because he's just not afraid to talk about his mistakes. He's actually interested in showing and explaining you why and how those mistakes happened and what you should do differently in order for you to don't repeat them. Now, my favorite story from the book was when he went to this company and he found this reception lady. And this lady had some pictures of her daughters on her desk. And Christopher was trying to create some rapport and trust with her because she was going to give him access to the facility or to the elevator or for anything that he wanted to do for that particular assessment. So yeah, anyway, he just decided to compliment her daughters, and he as a father thought that that would be a good idea. So he respectfully just said something like, "Your daughters are beautiful, congratulations." But this lady, she wasn't having any of that. She just gave him that look like, who is this creepy dude and what the heck does he want from me? Like, who is this guy that just came here and all of a sudden is complimenting my daughters? And at that moment, Christopher knew that he made a mistake and he got so embarrassed that he just decided to lie on the spot, and he said something like, "Oh, I forgot something in my car, I'll be right back." But he actually never came back. He actually asked some of his colleagues to come back and finish the assessment for him because how embarrassed he was. Now, this is incredible for me because when we are talking about social engineering, Christopher is a pioneer in the field, and he has 17 years of experience, not only in social engineering and pen testing, but also as an educator and as a speaker. So it really takes a lot of humility and selflessness to be that open about his mistakes and his failures, and I really appreciated that. That was really cool. And another thing that I really enjoyed on the book, which leads me to the next point, is the fact that Christopher was willing to show us his methodology and his way of thinking instead of just naming and listing a bunch of random tools. And that's something that I also want to talk about. This book shows you some really cool and useful tools, but those are not the main focus. And why is that? Well, that's because when it comes to tools, they just come and go. They can become obsolete in a matter of days. Now, when it comes to methodologies and ways of thinking, now those are the things that will stick with you and help you to solve problems despite of the tools that you might have at your disposal. Now, finally, for the last topic, I really want to discuss something that absolutely changed the way that I look at social engineering, pen testing, and red teaming, and all the offensive security operations in general, which is leave them happy and better by having met you. Now, this one really changed the way that I look and think about all the things that I just mentioned before, like pen testing, red teaming, and all that jazz. And that's because on chapter 5, which is called I Know How to Make You Like Me, Christopher wrote something very similar to this. If you learn how to properly use rapport and trust, you can build a bridge between yourself and the people you're working with. And by doing so, you're developing a relationship that will make them happy and better for having met you, which will of course lead to a stronger bond and better results. So, in a nutshell, we should always be aiming to build that trust, those relationships. That is really important because at the end of the day, it's all about leaving them happy and better for having you there. And I understand that people are mainly interested in real results, as they probably should, but I think that it's also very important to know that you can reach that with only technical skills. Your character, the way you treat people, your social skills are also very important because once again, you're there to help. That's the mindset that we got to have as pen testers. It's not about becoming a domain admin or just owning or pawning your clients. You're there to help. And you should make sure that the client really understands that you're there to help them to become better and to fix some stuff and to get a better security posture. So again, it's about making them feel happy and better for having met you. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe because it's free and you can always change your mind. Plus, we didn't reach the 1000 subscribers before Christmas, so let's try to reach it before the end of the year. That would make me really happy. And so, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!